Okay, start recording all by itself. That's great. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be drinking HekiEn Ocha no Junpei Kabusecha from Aichi Prefecture in Japan. Aichi is across the Bay of Ise from Mie, so now we're getting into, can I say, like, closer to Tokyo area. It's still a little ways to the west of Tokyo, but this looks really good from just the shape of the leaf. Aichi is where tokoname is for teapots. It's where seto is for ceramics. It's where Nagoya is. And they're a really big producer of matcha. So I see I have a matcha over there. I'll look at it later. But if you can buy like inexpensive matcha in Japan, I've seen that it tends to be coming from Aichi. I haven't had a whole lot of other tea that comes from Aichi though, so this is exciting. It has that sort of high theanine, green, sweet, almost tobacco cigar sort of thing going on. It looks, just from the shape of the leaf and the consistency of it and the coloration and all those things, this looks like it is currently the most expensive tea in the whole set. And maybe, like, because it's Kabusecha and not Gyokuro, maybe there's a chance, and not matcha, maybe there's a chance that just because of that fact it's not. The quality looks great though. Very fine width, so they're like 1 millimeter width or less on these needles. There's basically just one color, which is dark olive. There's no stem in here at all that I can really see, and I guess I would say that this is probably not deep steamed, that it is maybe like regular steamed, futsumushi, or even potentially light steamed. I guess I'm only saying that because of the size. They're not very long needles, they're all quite short. And I'm not sure what's the reason for that, but it doesn't seem like they're broken. So I guess I have to learn that. Also, it's okay. It's a little less fragrant in this glass than it was in the bag, but there's a fatty creaminess that the aroma has to it. Honestly, it reminds me of the sort of flavor you get just when you mix soy sauce and wasabi. There's there's a depth to it, and okay, it's not just those two things. I guess it's with fish, maybe with sushi. And the ones I would only say are like basically tuna, wasabi, soy sauce. It smells like a really perfect accompaniment for sushi in general, or sashimi. Either way, it's a beautiful looking tea, and I do expect really good things from it. So I'm gonna chill down the water. I'll get it brewing around 70 degrees, so the water's not even boiling yet, so I'm just gonna pause for a bit. Actually, smelling it from this is very easy. There's a very strong green vegetal note, a sweet one. It's like a combination of lettuce and corn. But the corn's sweetness is really coming through, like especially sweet types of corn. Canned corn, peaches and cream as the varietal. Yeah, that smells amazing. But okay, back to pausing. One last thing, maybe just because this is kind of interesting, it might come up of some value in the future for decoration, for garnish of a dish, for whatever. So with this glass was wet because I just rinsed it out. But then when you roll around the tea in it, you can get this kind of effect. So it's quite easy to see the size of the leaf when it's like this. But yeah, it is. It is now super fragrant, probably because so much of it is coating everything. I don't know, this might be a technique that I use from now on. Like, I think you probably can smell everything. After so long, you learn new tricks. Anyway. Okay, let's see actually if this is practical. I suppose it is. I gave that can, or this carafe, to my daughter to smell. She said it smells like tea. Very unlike her, usually. There's a nice freshness coming off of the leaf. It's grassy, fresh grass. Fresh cut grass. Yeah, cut grass, absolutely. And surprisingly, that aroma does not come up for me that often. Grass is common, sure. Wet grass is common. Cold grass, dry grass, hay, underside of a lawnmower, all of these things are not unusual to smell. But fresh cut grass, this one is, it's a little rare. There's a chemical name for that aroma. I that's called though. I should rinse these off. Okay. Super clear. I don't think that's going to change too much somehow. Yeah, this is like exactly the smell of the fabric bag full of just recently cut grass, if you have that bag on a lawnmower. It's been a very long time since I've smelled that. Surprisingly, the timer didn't go off yet. Did I start a timer? I'm gonna check. Alexa, what's the timer?
It's 1:18 p.m. By the way, I can tell you about
Okay,
the
Alexa,
specific time.
how long on the timer?
There are no timers
Fuck,
set.
okay. Pretty sure that's 2 minutes. Maybe I'm now 2 minutes, 20 seconds. That is a botched scientific method. I have pretty good intuition when 2 minutes is up. So I think we're probably not super far away from that mark. So really delicate color. I might expect this from Longjing or some Chinese green teas. You wouldn't expect that aroma though. Maybe the fresh cut grass aroma is in there, but there's also a pretty aggressive cabbage, raw cabbage aroma. Maybe even, well, the thing is, I don't eat raw cabbage often, green cabbage, but I do eat raw purple cabbage, and this, I don't know how similar they are. Probably they can't be that different, but if I had to go on the record and say this smells like cabbage, I would say it smells like purple cabbage. Raw purple cabbage. It's a little pungent. Something about it, maybe it's the sweetness of the aroma. It's cooked onion, not caramelized onion, and specifically white onion. Okay, that's nice and focused. Very mild, gentle flavor. Oh, there's at the roof of the mouth, a couple seconds after you sip it, there's this fruitiness that appears, kind of like lychee, fresh lychee. Nothing spoiled, nothing weird about it. Canned lychee, I guess. As well as canned or fresh, but I guess regardless, they both taste quite good. The quintessential lychee flavor is there both times. think it's fine like this, but I probably would brew it stronger if this was a tea that I carried, and this is one that I think I would carry. Again, needs some more testing. Aroma-wise, there's not a whole lot of ambiguity. It's very clear in these flavors that it develops, and that's pretty special because it's I don't know, it's very easy to relate to it. This is brewed, I think, just too light. I do suspect that if I did it at 1 to 10, there would be something I wouldn't like though. And I say that because despite the gentle nature of this, it does leave a little bit of tannin, and that dryness is only going to get amplified like crazy if I try to make it 7 times as strong. I guess I would probably suspect that 1 to 40 or 1 to 50 would be better than 1 to 10. Unfortunately, like this one, perhaps the water is too hot, perhaps it's too weak, but the umami is not really standing out. I don't think anyone would doubt that this is a fine tea. And I do think it's one of the best in the set so far. So then, rather than go against my gut instinct and brew it at 1 to 10, I'm going to do it at 1 to 40. It's a hard decision. One to 30, I'll do 1 to 35. Let's go in the middle. So I'll enjoy the rest of this just to make some space in a container. As it is, the aroma is a 6. The concentration is also 6. The astringency is a 2. The finish is a 6. Could be 5. It's around there. One of these days, maybe I'll go to a 100-point scale, then be able to use 55s and stuff. Yeah, that astringency is the killer. It's the only thing that is holding me back from saying that this is great, and I think that's also holding back the perception of the flavor, because it kind of, and perception of the finish especially, because it just kind of gets in there and dries out the tongue and kind of, I guess, prohibits tasting. The weight's maybe a 6 as well. I'm going to start cooling down the water. We're going to do the next one much cooler, around 50 to 60 degrees at the initial temperature. So it's going to brew probably around 50 or so. And see if we can't get that theanine out, get the astringency down. 1 to 40, 2 minutes. And yeah, I'll pause for now. Okay, so I don't know, with the pause, unpause style of doing this, I probably just said I'll do this at 1 to 40. It's 1 to 35, I think I said that earlier. That means that I needed 192.5 grams of water to go with 5.3 grams of tea. 5.5 I think I had. Smells like water. Still, it's quite hot. Can I hold it forever? No, burns the hands. Pain. Alright, it's time. Alexa, start a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Interestingly, now there's somewhat of a parsnip aroma. But still, anyway, it's very, very clear. Parsnip being, yeah, a pretty interesting smelling vegetable. Kind of sweet, medicinal smelling, I guess. It's funny, parsnip, whenever it's come up in the past, that has been in black tea. And interestingly enough, lychee comes up more in black tea for me than any other type of tea as well. So getting some interesting notes from this tea in particular. There's something about it now which makes me think of salt. Maybe that's, I don't know, the dryness. Salt, so not really salt actually. It's like if you open a bag of dried nori, there is of course there's a nori smell, but then there's mostly just, there's a, I don't know how you describe it. Of course a bag of nori should smell like nori, but then there's something else. Alexa, stop. I guess my point is it's not the seaweed aroma, it's the dryness of a bag of seaweed. Doesn't seem like it's a very tangible thing to say, but it has been said. So this one is it's not a whole lot darker than the other. We're still in the realm of very pale green. Surely this is perfect clarity as well. Yeah, so 10 out of 10 clarity. I don't know, I would say this is almost, if beige was green, it'd be like this. The aroma is like, you smell it for a little bit, it disappears, and something new comes, it disappears, something new comes, disappears. I would say it's sweet and salty. Sweet aroma, salty heat, salty dryness. So it doesn't give me the, how do I put it, the really powerful, my brain is going crazy right now. So just trying to think back to Gyokuro. When is it that I get this giant wow factor? I think it's in the flavor, of course. So yeah, you can smell it all you want. It's this tranquil kind of thing, and it's like everything is lurking in the liquid. This is very much like that, and so I suspect I'm in for a big surprise. Maybe it would have been bigger if it was 1 to 10, but let's have a look. So it's much better than the first pot. I probably should have done 1 to 10, honestly. This is now pretty unique, though. I think that this one is a much more worthwhile thing to drink than the first pot. Because texturally this is it's a unique experience. Because it seems like you're getting sweetness and saltiness in pretty much equal parts. Yeah, there's some air of fragrance which is kind of shared by the two of them. And then from the underside, astringency comes up and it kind of seals this flavor. The astringency is still a little bit unwanted. I also would want to comment there's something I want to compare to apple skin. Maybe that's the astringency. It's astringent like apple skins. So on the metrics, the brewed like this, the depth is a 3 out of 10, but there is some depth. The umami is what I refer to. Astringency is still probably 2. The aroma and the concentration are lower than I would have expected. I want to say maybe the aroma is a 5 and the concentration is a 6. The weight is a 7. And that the astringency is getting in the way of the finish again. Finish is like a 5. I like it. I think it's a great tea. I buy it. I would want to experiment more before I did that, though. I just would want to make sure that I can do this really well but this has, with the exception of the astringency, which I should be able to deal with, if not in brewing with pairing with food. I could, if you eat something a little bit fatty, then that will go away. And so then if you go again with the pairing of like sushi, then that's taken care of. That wouldn't bother you. I think this would be a very practical and very well suited tea for a place that has sushi and a place that would do pairings with tea. And yeah, it's very iconic, very clear flavors, again, very good for people who, not necessarily people who can't taste intricately, but maybe then settings that don't allow for it. So right now, this is quite peaceful for me. I can sit here, I can think about stuff. But if you're in a bar or you're in a restaurant where you don't have that option. You have to keep up conversation. You have to, enjoy the ambiance, eat the food, etc. You don't really have 32 minutes of time to appraise the tea. And in a setting like that, things are probably better if they are very obvious. So obviously, for me, this is a great tea. Yeah, I think that's really all I can say. I wish I had more. The cigar aroma is a little bit in here too. And a beautiful, beautiful green color that you're going to get from these leaves. And beautiful, almost shincha-like softness to it. Anyway, bye.